Hi Gemini, I'm Corinne from Sacred Star Tarot. This is your timeless reading to get the message that is meant to reach you right now. I hope you're doing really well. Now, what we're going to be starting with is some channeled messages, then have a look at your oracle cards, and then dive deep into the tarot. But this is the message that Spirit wants to get to you right at this point in time in your life. And to begin, we're going to call in Spirit to the reading. Clear the energy. Only love, light is allowed in this space. Calling in your higher self, our guides, the angels, to bring Gemini everything they need to know. The most important messages. Okay, Gemini, let me just start by tuning into your energy. Okay, so the message that I'm getting is about taking a pause to reflect on your life, Gemini. So this may be something that you're doing at the moment that, get a sense of like pausing, thinking about, reflecting on your life, thinking of, am I happy? What do I want to do? Is there something better for me out there? Now, if you're not already in that thought process, Spirit's recommending you do that. Otherwise it's like there's going to be something really important about having a pause to reflect. And maybe it's going to show you something about your life, reveal something, show you something. But your first oracle card is the energy is gaining momentum and waxing moon. And as I'm tuning into that card, what I'm actually getting is, it feels like that time between twilight, that twilight time. And the twilight time is like it's the in-between. That's what it is. It's the in-between. So maybe you're in between something at the moment, Gemini. Maybe you're in between jobs or relationships, or you just feel in this in-between. You're ready for something more, but I get this definitely in between. And that's the message, is that when you're in the in-between, it's like a void. And being in the void is like fertile ground, because in the void there's infinite potentials and possibilities, and that's what I'm seeing. So sitting in the void with not knowing what will come out of it is the key. Now, Spirit wants you to be a bit patient if you're in this space, because we can't hurry it up. I think sometimes our ego, maybe your mind, you don't feel very comfortable in the void because you're kind of ready to get an answer, to move on, to know what's next, or whatever this in-between phase is. But the in-between can be a beautiful, fertile ground of possibilities and potentials. So your guidance from Spirit is to really just sit in it and know that something will be born out of the void. The void doesn't last forever. It's just a period of time. And maybe in the void it's time for some healing, and that's important as well, because you've got a time from healing with balsamic moon. And that's what I'm feeling too, is that, really giving yourself space if you're in this void period, if you're in this in-between, is really important. So don't feel that you have to hurry it. Don't think there's something wrong with being in the void. It's an important phase, like the moons. The moon goes from the waxing to the waning, and that's how I'm feeling. You're in this in-between. And then you have the fairy message, stargazing. And so you could be looking at the stars, contemplating, thinking, dreaming. When you gaze at all the stars. You give yourself fairy focus. Your intuition will flow freely and reveal what you need to know about your situation. There you go. So for some of you, it might be actually beautiful to do stargazing. But it's like being in this void of not thinking, not trying to work it out, with infinite fertility and potentials. Beautiful. I get this very quiet, serene, like the time between dusk and dawn or nighttime. Beautiful. Okay, so let's find out a little bit more and we'll dive deeper into the tarot. Okay, Spirit, can we please have more clarity for Gemini to help them to understand and what they need to know right at this point in time in this void? It actually feels a very serene and beautiful place as I'm tuning into the energy. It's that beautiful time. I don't know if you've woken up like really early in the morning and everything's quiet and still and the sun hasn't come out. It's that feeling. It's a little bit airy, but it's peaceful and quiet. It's beautiful. Before things have to move forward. So it's like enjoying that time. And that could be, for some of you, if you're in between jobs, it's like enjoy the void. Because that void time might be replenishing, recharging. If it's a relationship, that void time, allows you to do healing, have time with yourself to recharge your battery, all of that. So enjoy it. And I'm getting my eyes being drawn to these moons. They're not full moons. They're moving towards, they're gaining momentum. Okay. Now the other message is if you're working on a project, this could be a bit of the void time where not much is happening. And again, Spirit's saying, don't worry that not much is happening. You've got the Eight of Pentacles. The message from the Eight of Pentacles is to be really patient with yourself when you're mastering something. So if you're working on a project and you're mastering something, the advice is just to keep working on it, practice your skills, refine your skills, keep understanding that, it takes time to create something that you want. And that could be the life that you want. You might be, wanting to create more wealth, prosperity, health. But I can really feel this void time. So understand what I'm getting is you're exactly where you're meant to be. So don't think that you're not or nothing's happening. The void is important. Okay, so let's see. Can we please have more clarity? Oh, there we go. Okay, you have the Two of Wands in reverse. Can we please have more clarity for Gemini? Fool in reverse. Yeah, it's definitely a pause. 10 of Swords. Okay. Right, too many cards. Let's look at these. Bottom of the deck, 3 of Cups. Okay. Now, let's see. So the Two of Wands and the Fool in reverse, what I'm getting from these actually is that the pause. You might feel like you're ready for something new, but the message is that you need the pause, that you're not quite ready for something new. It'll come, so don't worry, Gemini. Don't feel impatient like you should be going on a new quest, that you should be taking action. Now's actually not the time. It's to enjoy the void, because in the void you'll heal, you'll recharge your batteries, you'll get clarity. Because eventually that new moon comes and then you know what is next. So if you're looking for something, say you're looking for a new job, that'll come. A new relationship, that'll come. But it's just having a bit of patience and enjoying where you're at. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Now, the Fool will come, this energy of a new beginning, a fresh new start. But you have the 10 of Wands there. And so I think the new start hasn't come yet because there's time for healing. And maybe there's something you need to face, to clear. The swords of fears, anxieties, worries. And what I'm getting from that is there might be something that needs to be healed so that you can get your fresh new start and move on. But let's get a bit more clarity. Can we please understand the Fool? Oh, too many cards. Yeah, it's the Pause. Okay. Here we go. Hangman and the Knight of Wands in reverse. So the advice here, Gemini, is don't feel like you have to rush into something new. I keep getting the analogy of the relationship, and for a lot of you it won't be a relationship, but it's just a good kind of understanding. It's like we can jump into something new really quickly, but that wouldn't be a good thing. The advice here is you need the pause to get in an enlightenment. Maybe here in the pause you'll really see something. You'll see something clearly that will help you for what's next in your life. Maybe it's getting a new idea, maybe it's getting into a different relationship or learning something new. But the advice is very clear to pause and don't rush into something new. That could be a mistake. Can we please understand the 10 of Swords? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you need to end a cycle first. You've got bottom of the deck, the Hermit. And maybe that's why the pause is important. There's a lesson to be understood before going into the next, so that you don't bring in a problem or a pattern, an emotional pattern into the next situation. So Gemini, I would be asking myself, well, firstly, the message is to stay in the pause, allow that time to reflect. A reflection's a big thing. Reflect on your life, reflect on what you really want. Look at the past situation and see what did I learn out of that situation so that I can end a cycle and move into a new experience without that, after ending the cycle. And then your Fool, you can step into your Fool, which is your next phase. But the pause is so important. So important, Gemini. Really, really important. So self-reflection, because you have the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. He's the advice that he's got wisdom inside. And if he just withdraws and reflects, he will be able to see something with the illumination of the lantern. He'll be able to see something he couldn't see before. Lovely. So, is there anything else that Gemini needs to know that can help them with this situation? There we go. Okay. 7 of Cups. Lovers. Or Empress. Okay. 7 of Cups, Lovers, and the Eight of Wands. So for some of you, this will be a relationship, and it's the advice is not to rush in, but could be business, career, anything, absolute anything. It might be worth having a look, at what you really want, Gemini. This is the card of like being really clear on what you want in your life. I think there's going to be a lot of self-reflection. What am I creating? What have I created? What do I want to create? What cycle needs to end within me so that I can have something different? And this will be all of the thought processes. So you're exactly where you're meant to be. If you self-reflect and take the time out, you'll get the answers that you're looking for, and then you'll be able to start anew. But this isn't quite there yet. The next thing isn't quite there. Beautiful. Okay. Now let's ask for a message from Archangel Michael for you. Can we please have a message for Gemini from Archangel Michael? There we go. Okay. You've got sense of humour. Show you the card. Sense of humour. Archangel Michael. Thank you for helping me see the humour in the situation so I can lovingly laugh at my human nature. I'm willing to view my experiences in a new light in order to attract love and healing energy. Yeah. And that's what I'm getting from that actually for you, Gemini. The message is when you're reflecting on this past situation or your life in general, it's not to be too hard on yourself, too serious about it. Our life, it matters and it doesn't matter. You know, we can take it far too seriously. And if you've made mistakes or whatever you've learned from the past, you just, realize, I've learned something. If I made mistakes, I'm imperfect. That's okay. I'm going to take that knowledge and use it to start my new chapter, to end a cycle. And it's really just not being too serious about it is the message, Gemini. Not to be too serious. All right, now let's get a message from the moon. Oh, we've got 2 messages from the moon. I'll just check with Spirit. Where do we want to go? Okay. Yeah. Can we please have a message for Gemini? Message for Gemini, what they need to hear right at this moment. So enjoy the pause, Gemini. The void. If you've listened to a lot of spiritual, speakers and near-death experiences, they talk about this void with, that you can go into, and it's like the fertile ground of infinite potentials and possibilities can come out of it. And that's what I'm sensing for you. Yeah, deep replenishment. I think you need time for healing, Gemini. So this is deep replenishment. Again, we see the moon. We keep seeing the moon in the background. So this is going to be very, very much about your unconscious, tapping into your unconscious to be able to heal, to rest, to understand a lesson that you're needing to understand so that you can be made new and go into the new chapter healed. So if you need to look at the stars, doing that reflection, reflecting on your life, the answers will come. It'll be beautiful. This is a very beautiful time. I'm tapping into the energy, and it's just so restorative, peaceful, self-reflection. It's gorgeous. So you're exactly where you are and need to be, and use this time to its most potential. Wonderful, Gemini. That is your reading, the message that was meant to reach you right now. I hope that helps in your journey of life. I'm sending you all of my love, light and blessings. Subscribe to never miss a reading, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.